Hey guys, Kaylee here, and welcome back to the Honeystead. We've got a few things happening here on the farm, but one of the biggest things that we've got going on is it is honey harvest time. So my mom, my dad, and I are up here in our apiary together, and we are collecting some of our honey supers, bringing them down and getting them processed for honey. So come on and enjoy the honey flow with us. It truly takes an entire team to do what we're doing right now, but it is us three. So my mom and I are doing a quick hive inspection, pulling the honey supers off that are ready to be processed, wheeling them over to my dad that's in the honey house right now. He is uncapping them, putting them in the spinner, and spinning away. I think somebody just wants to hang out on me. Not too shabby looking. This honey looks absolutely delicious. Pretty proud of our girls. Check out that big, fat, robust boy right there. Notice the difference between him and the girls? I always try to share that with you guys. Sometimes people kind of confuse what a drone looks like to a queen, especially new beekeepers, and that's totally okay.
So we pulled off, this is the third frame on the second medium as far as the colony goes, but look at this brood pattern. Just gorgeous. Both sides. Just perfect. That's all worker bees. Good work, Queenie.
When it comes to honey harvesting, there are a few things that we've kind of learned along the way that has helped us out tremendously. Before your honey harvest, go ahead and start preparing. Grab your bottles, get your labels made, have everything ready, because the last thing that you want to do is spin off all your honey and not being able to do anything with it. Another thing that you might want to decide is, how are you going to do your honey harvest? Are you going to crush and strain your comb? Are you going to spin it off? Start thinking about that ahead of time. We mainly use an extractor. We also have found that this tool right here, it's an uncapping tool. I do have this added on our Amazon storefront. I definitely really like this tool. I actually like this tool a lot more than our electric hot knife. And the reason is because the electric hot knife, you have to be really careful on where you place it, and this, not so much. If you guys are interested in this, it'll be on our Amazon storefront, and I'll provide the link down below. We try to set up our honey extracting area the night before. We clean and sterilize all of our equipment before use. But one of the big things I really want to stress on is if you guys are using a 5-gallon bucket. Now, the 5-gallon bucket that I'm talking about, it has the spout on it for you to easily be able to pour off your honey. That has been one of the biggest things that I always tell everyone, please double check that. Fill your buckets up with water, close that cap and crank that wing nut down to make sure that your bucket seals. I cannot tell you or stress how many people I have seen not test their buckets out. Their seal breaks, they lose a whole bucket worth, which I'll add, a whole 5-gallon bucket is 60 pounds of honey. If you lose 60 pounds of honey because of not checking that seal, it's extremely devastating. So make sure that you guys check everything the night before, have everything set up, clean, look at the tools that you're gonna use, have some extra hands in place. Something else to consider when it comes to doing honey, look at your state requirement for labels. Make sure that you're doing it and following the guidelines so you don't end up hurting yourself. We're actually gonna sell honey in 3 different ways. We're gonna have a 1.5 ounce jar, we're gonna have an 8 ounce bottle, and we're gonna have a 16 ounce bottle. This one is the 8 ounce bottle, and I'll share with you what our state requirements are. So here in Virginia, we actually have to have the word honey larger than any other words on the bottle. So honey has to be the largest font that you'll see, and then you have to have down below, you have to have the amount of honey and then also the net weight. That is always a huge discussion when it comes to honey because honey is different than liquid. Just make sure that you're converting your honey ounce and weight appropriately as it's not used by liquid. Honey is sold by weight, so take that into consideration. You might want to weigh it. You might want to get your exact numbers in. The other thing that I'll add is on the back of our labels. So on the back of our labels here in Virginia, we have to put our contact information. We have to put our website. We also have to have a disclaimer down below that states do not feed honey to children under the age of 1, and also that it's processed and prepared without state inspection. If I were to be up to, I believe it's 3,000 pounds of honey here in Virginia, then I have to have a state inspected area. We definitely did not process 3,000 pounds of honey. I think by the time that we're done, between what we have now and what we are still about to do, I still have 1 honey harvest between probably about 6 of our colonies that we haven't touched. I would estimate that we would probably have close to 500 pounds of honey when it's all said and done. Definitely make sure to keep an eye out on your regulations when it comes to labeling your own honey. This is strictly here what I have to follow my guidelines by. When it comes to pricing out your honey, do look around and kind of compare. I am a firm believer that if you want real honey, you need to know a beekeeper. And I think for us beekeepers, we need to price accordingly. We need to price what our time and what our effort is worth, and for the bees. Now, all of the money that we make for our honey goes right back to the bees. And now with the nonprofit that we have setting up, we're gonna actually be able to take a good portion of our sales and put it right back to the nonprofit so that we can actually start helping other people and making it possible for them to become beekeepers. So for the beekeepers who are gonna be extracting their own honey very soon, make sure to do your research, find the bottle that you want, make a good label, get your equipment set up, just have fun with it. You know, it's a sticky, messy mess, and sometimes it's not always as easy to be able to do it, but just have fun with it, be prepared, get yourself in order, figure out a game plan, get help if you can. The more hands, the merrier. If you can get people together to help you extract and help you pull honey supers and work together as a team, it makes it a lot easier, especially if you have multiple hives. This year was definitely an amazing year for us beekeeping wise. We have had extremely high success rate on all of our colonies. We were able to pull off a good portion of honey that I get to now share. I get to share with you guys, I get to share with our local customers and friends and family. It's one of the sweetest parts of this journey of beekeeping, is to be able to have everyone taste what your bees made and actually show gratitude towards these wonderful little creatures. It's not always easy pulling the honey, but again, When you're doing it, you don't have to take it all. That, I think, is our biggest mission when it comes to beekeeping. Is we're not necessarily out for growing honey, we're actually out for growing bees, healthy bees. And I probably could have gotten a lot more honey than what I did, but that's okay. We have one more honey harvest that we might do, but know that we leave a lot for the bees because we don't know what this winter is gonna be like. And as a beekeeper that's in it for the bees, the other thing that I do is we leave a good portion, because you won't believe how many people call for fall swarms. A swarm of honeybees in the fall, their likelihood of survival is extremely, extremely low depending on your area. I'm already preparing for that. I'll be waiting for our phone to ring. Fall swarms definitely happen, and if we can help save them, we're going to. If any of you are interested in some of our honey, keep an eye out on our Etsy store. I'll be sharing a good portion of our honey harvest with you guys for you to be able to enjoy a bit of the honey from our girls here at the Honeystead. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old.